Boom. Open beta test number 2 for Guilty Gear Strive. They just announced it. So May 13th through the 16th and May 14th through the 16th. Hold on. So Pacific Standard Time is the 13th, 8 a.m. to 7:59. Oh, God. So to 8 a.m., right? From 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. for 2 days. That's not bad at all. 2 days of Guilty Gear. Sign me the fuck. Wait a minute. I think that's when I get my next COVID shot. No, bro. I'm gonna have to fight through the sickness to play Guilty Gear, bro. Oh my God. Like Jordan in that iconic game. Like, is Eno gonna be playable? Have they said anything about that? Like, is Eno supposed to be playable during this demo? Eno and Anji are playable? What? Bro. Real talk, I'm thinking about playing Eno now. Because if we using dash buttons, if the gloves are off, I might be using Eno my damn self. Yo, Zion, real talk, I'm like Jordan in that iconic game, bro. My man was out there playing with the flu. I'm finna be playing this Guilty Gear full COVID number 2. Like, I need to do these combos. I'm definitely gonna corrupt Eno. She's about to get that Tasty Steve treatment. And I think Eno should be fortunate, bro. Like, I think Eno should be fortunate. No PC beta test. It be like that, man. You can't trust the PC users, bro. You can't trust them. They gonna give us a 30-minute demo, and then like the next day somebody's gonna be like, yo, I've hacked the demo. All the characters are unveiled. All the DLC leaked, as well as the secret color costumes and the whole 9, man. That's what I feel like those are the people who mess it up for the upstanding PC users out here. I think that's what happens. They get it early. The company don't like it. Everybody's sad in the back end when we should have just waited to the proper release date. We all wanted the gear. We all wanted to be degenerates. Make the gears guilty. I understand. I'm one of you. But you got to understand, man, if they put it on PC, bro, the hackers, bro, they're going to be out there like Tony Stark in the cave, fucking going in on the coding, bro, trying to get in. Talking to these guys about Guilty Gear. And the new beta test they just announced is going to be 2 days, May 13th through the 16th. Pacific Standard Time, anyway. It's going to be the 13th through the 16th. Got 2 days, bro. 2 days with this Guilty Gear. And Eno and Anji are both playable. Damn, I feel like I might just be running those characters most of the time. I think that's what I'm going to do, man. I might touch Leo just because, you know, they made some changes to him. But I really want to see what these other characters, because I feel like taking these characters up now is going to be a little different. The website lists some of the system changes. Yo, can you link those really quick? But we got a new fucking Guilty Gear Strive beta, open beta test 2. They just had like a test in Japan, and it was actually in arcades, which is really kind of scary considering, you know, the current situation. And there's no but to that. That's just kind of scary. However, they do have the online for PS4 and PS5 open beta test will be returning. And we're going to get 2 brand new playable characters that will have never been playable before. Anji as well as Eno. 2 days. 2 days. I got you for 2 days. And I'm going to play the shit out of you. Hopefully my second COVID shot, you know, just bears with me a little bit, because I want to play Guilty Gear. I'm going to try to fight through it. Crossplay available between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Client available download, so 5.7. Okay. Playable mode, versus mode. Play against the CPU or another player. Bro, I want somebody to come play against me IRL, bro. I'm just trying to run the sets, B. Trying to run the fucking sets, B. Play against CPU, learn basics in tutorial mode, training mode, practice with custom settings, online match, test your skills against players from all over the world. Player matches, player created rooms will not be available during the beta test. So at least we know that. All playable characters. We got Soul, Kai, Mei, Axel, Chip, Potemkin, Faust, Milia, Zato, Ramathal, Leo, Nagarayuki, Giovanna, Anji, yeah, Eno, yeah. Battle balance has been adjusted after the open beta test in February. Do these rooms look a little different? The player can now select a dual station to queue for battles. After selecting a station, the player enters into standby mode and waits for an opponent. So you can just sit there and wait, huh? Okay. A rematch function has been added. In the rank tower, you can rematch up to 3 times. Oh snap, hold on. You can rematch up to 3 times or until either player's recommended floor changes in the open park. You can rematch as many times as both players agree. Other features of the lobby have also been improved. Battle balance adjustments. When the same move is used more than a set number of times in a combo, the opponent now falls more quickly. Ah, okay. That's good. So you can't use repeat moves again, I guess for loops. That is definitely an adjustment on loops. They already said they messed with them a little bit anyway. Aerial actuals. Let me get back to this really quick because I got to go, make sure this chicken is all right. I got to go flip this bad boy. Aerial actions in general have been adjustments vary for each character. Sounds like they changed startup on some normals maybe. Using aerial attacks, double jumps, and air dashes now cause recovery on landing. Yeah, I like that. Jumps and air dashes now cover less distance. Very. Characters now enter an airborne state later after jump begins. Oh, so it's recovery on jumps now. I remember talking to some people and they're like, they're not changing anything. And I'm like, bro, you've never played a Guilty Gear game. They do this all the time. They push it in, they take it out just to see how you react to it. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, but it is definitely something that's changed. I see something about 6P in here, and I haven't even got there yet. My eyes just wander. I'm a fighting game player. That's what happens. But no, seriously, I think that's really cool. Adding recovery to some of these jumps, as well as, recovery to startup and recovery to the jumps definitely makes it a lot more vital, holding up forward and holding up back. Like I said, if they leave it in or they go back and put it back the way it is, that would suck, especially because I can already feel the difference and I'm not even playing the game. I can feel it in my theory fighting ability developed over years of playing other fighting games. It's going to be better. But it was also something that I kind of touched on in one of my videos. I was definitely talking shit about it in a sense like, damn, it's stupid. But if it's there, we got a deal. Luckily, they've looked at it and, it makes it a little difference. The characters now enter airborne state later after jump begins. The command normal 6P has been adjusted to work as an anti-air attack. Something else that somebody did not agree with me that was going to be changed, but they changed. Adjustments vary for each character. That's really all I asked. Because if you don't have a 6P or a DP, shit's terrible for you, especially if somebody's literally just holding up forward or holding up back. If you don't get a combo from it, that's okay, especially depending on the character. But you at least want the option to, stop that pressure on the jump in, especially if it's one of their main offense or defensive tools. Because every character doesn't have certain, attacks or angles where they can get to, or even just recovery-wise. The hit box now expands upwards, and the hurt box has been reduced. Okay, the attack is now active for longer. Okay, and so I guess that would mean, so if they do time it the wrong way, right? Like, if they time it incorrectly, you can still possibly bait it or just catch the recovery. Recovery time has been increased after blocking an attack while in midair. Okay, see, this is even better. So not only do you have, landing recovery, but now you have to be careful about the recovery time on after a blocked air attack. The overall balance has been adjusted from general game mechanics to individual character abilities. So it's just it's an overall update on everything, right? That's why we saw those videos coming from Leo where, his Berserker Slash had been adjusted. More updates are implemented throughout the game, such as menu screens. So far, we got a lobby change where you have, stations that you can sit at to wait for a lobby. They got new Anji gear in the lobby as well because you can dress up your characters, as well as just a balance adjustment overall. And not even only specifically to characters, but to game mechanics. Jump recovery, actions in the air dash space, how much it covers. 6P being used as an anti-air, more recovery on that. And then just in general, characters' abilities overall have been changed and adjusted. Now, once again, this doesn't mean that this is going to stick before the game comes out, but I'm telling you right now, as somebody who's been playing this game and eagerly still awaiting this game, even with the last version, these are changes that I am very much for. These could be small for some characters, but even still, this is something that I like to see going forward, right? They make these changes. They don't give you blow for blow, drop down character for character what has changed. You just go in and you kind of experience it yourself, especially since it's a beta and they're still working stuff out. But yo, taste buds, what do you guys think, man? How do you guys feel about some of these battle adjustments as well as just the lobby adjustments? I'm curious about the character-specific adjustments, especially Nago. Curious how the landing recovery works after air dashes and double jumps. Seems like it will hurt aerial-based characters like Milia, Chip, and Eno a lot. So Flyrant, it does, but you have to remember these characters are already generally faster, right? And a major part of their game is like getting in. So I think what it does is makes it so if you're playing those kind of characters, you're a lot more careful where you land, because now that there's landing recovery, you know what I'm saying? And even if you put a button after it, they've changed the distance on the air dashes as well. So even still, you're going to have to think that over anyway. But from the stuff that I've seen, the footage that I've seen, they've already, the changes themselves, like I was just watching Chip, I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because the way his Oki is set up now, if these changes are the same that they've had in the arcade, or when it comes to air dashes distance and stuff like that, it seems like it's not like a perfect thing, but it literally covers the same spaces that Chip did when he teleport in some of these jump setups. So he's still going to be able to get the cross ups, right? He's still going to be able to mix you. It's just more about placing those air dashes possibly after a knockdown, or just where you're going to do them. This is no different than what I'm used to from Guilty Gear, in all honesty. So that's something that I feel like you're just going to have to work with. Eno, Chip, and Milia are characters that work on having aerial pressure in a lot of instances, especially Milia, especially Eno, and a little bit for like Chip. I feel like characters like Ramlethal might get affected by it, but that's because she has these big buttons that kind of were like, they were very annoying to deal with. And even if, you know, you have, you know, an understanding of how to deal with it, it is definitely a major adjustment coming from no matter what to try to deal with it. So if you have a character that has more range, like, you know, Ram, who's shooting swords that explode and the block stun keeps you there, having her have a little more recovery on her air situations when it comes to some of her normals, so you're not just dealing with, you know, her air dashing, and or why it ain't even specifically just the air dashes, but just some of those big normals on the screen. So I think it to me it makes sense. Chosen Ninja says, I dig at the moment some people are freaking out about some of their changes, but you never know until you get your hands on it. I say Milia, I say on it, I say it as a Milia player. I'm thinking that the air changes probably won't affect the character like Milia too much, because her air movement is leagues above everyone else's. Oh, of course, Chosen Ninja. That's 100% correct, right? Because, like, I don't think people really saw, like, by the end of it, like, I was looking at Milia like, oh, okay, this is 100% what I was expecting from Milia. People was like, man, she doesn't have pin. What the hell is she supposed to do to get in? I'm like, bro, you're not playing that. That's not the same character, but you have some of the same tools to deal with. You still have like this crazy pressure that you're going to be able to put on people, and she still has these tools, like she still has roll, she still has fast fall. She's really not going to have a problem getting in. And on top of that, like, you still have to play the character, because I feel like even with the changes that they made, the characters largely still are going to play the same. It's just about more where you get those instances to put on some of those like wilder instances, those kind of, you know, I ain't gonna say wilder instances, but like some of those combos where you saw the quick air dashes and stuff like that. Just where you be able to apply those things is gonna change up more than anything, not so much the fundamental play style of the characters. Those changes might help me a lot more against characters with far buttons. I'm feeling like the pros and the cons even each other out. No, Chosen Ninja, I said that what I just said was completely before I even read what you said before, and that's true. Like, these changes are definitely something that no matter what character you play, like, it just seems like it's a better system adjustment overall, especially listening to some of what the players had to say about it, right? So no, this is kudos for them on this one. No, it's one of those things, man. I'm telling you right now, like, for me, somebody who played that game, and I was just like, I literally, the whole time I'm playing this beta is to understand, some of the design choices, right? And like, not to particularly look for my own personal playstyle, but like to look how these characters are going to be controlled, right? Like to get an understanding, like, well, where do I want to be as a character, right? Like, so somebody was talking about Nagaryuki changes, and I was already looking at some of the matches, and they definitely scaled some of his damage. They scaled some of his damage, but I'm really interested to see what his jump and button recovery is going to be like, because I feel like that's going to be a major part. I feel like he might not be as strong on jumps anymore, and he might have to place his buttons a little better, but like with the 6P change, which I feel like really doesn't affect him, because his 6P, if I'm not mistaken, it was like the hand, and he could convert that into combo damage, right? He can go straight in the target, but some of the target stuff he had, like if he doesn't have proper meter, like he's just taking the target combo or the Gatling combo, getting the knockdown, and then using his dash back and forth to kind of like range where you're gonna be, possibly read a jump, get a convert, you know what I'm saying? And like right in that instance, I feel like you're probably at like 50% meter, and if you manage it badly, possibly 60% meter, and you're still like in the game, right? Like you're still in the game at that point. They may throw take off, the bite throw take off more damage for Nagarayuki, so that means you're going to be a lot more twitchy in the up close game, right? Like that gives him a grappler effect because it takes a shit ton, and then even more so, it still manages the blood gauge. So if he bites you, it takes off a chunk of damage, he gets the knockdown, his blood gauge goes down. That means he's going to get more situations to do pressure with his dash, right? So if he can convert that, get another knockdown, he can use dash, go back to a distance where you can't, you know, jump out. He still has that crazy ass 2H, and the wall is right behind you. So I think what they, like some of the change, like just with Nagarayuki, just looking at it on paper, right? This is just my theory. I want to know how some of the combo damage is going to work out, because in my theory, I feel like 3 good combos and you're either like about to die or you're dead, you know, like when it comes to like chunks of damage, if I'm comparing it to the last game, right? So if and they said they scaled the damage a little bit, so I'm looking at like how many combos it takes, how much damage each character would do to like get that knockdown, and I don't know, like it looks like it's gonna have one of those situations where you're gonna get like a reset, push to the corner, probably get the wall break, take the meter gain, and hold the lead. That's what you're looking at. You're like, all right, now what are you going to do? Because I got meter, I got the situational, and I just reset it. So even if you do get out of the corner, I'm not going to be in a bad position because neither one of us are in the corner. But like once again, that's just the theory, my theory fighting, and like it's just keeps going and going and going. How do you feel about the best of 7 first to 3 in Strive? I like first to 3. Yeah, I like first to 3. You know what they should do, in my opinion? I think they should make an option, right? Because in the later times, and even in the arcade, I think for Guilty Gear Strive, just in Japan in general, they typically played 3 out of 5 rounds for Guilty Gear. So it was like 1 match, 3 out of 5 rounds. And granted, that was later, like when the meta of the game was like a little further evolved, and you know, but it doesn't surprise me that they're taking the first to 3. Not at all, Zion. Since I've never seriously played a GG game before, I don't have a real comparison type opinion, but I feel like this is a good change. It makes a more deliberate game. Oh, yo, first off, Caramel Jenkins be dropping fucking jewels, and I hope y'all be listening to him, because my man be dropping bars, and that's 100% true. It definitely makes it a lot more purposeful. Having somebody being able to just hold up back in certain situations or up forward or anything like that is very annoying. And that's just, you know, one of my examples. Not saying that's one of the only examples. But yeah, if you literally change up, and a lot of people had a problem with this because in Guilty Gear historically, characters have had like different hitboxes where you had to do character specific combos and be a lot more aware of it. Having different recovery on the moves as well as the jumps put a lot more a deliberateness, like Caramel Jenkins was pointing out, to these characters, as well as like it gives a frame for what you want these characters to be able to do, and I like it. I'm still on board, no questions asked. But no, Caramel Jenkins, I'm glad that like you can see that, like take that away from like the changes that they're made, because there's a lot of people who look at these changes for Guilty Gear and they're like, man, I don't like, what am I supposed to do with this, right? Like they're not really sure. Some people just see like all the changes as like this big thing to where their character is getting nerfed. Like I said before, I kind of touched on it. People were freaking out about like the whole thing where Leo got his Berserker Slash kind of changed, right? And I'm like, well, what is he supposed to do now? Like he's dead and this is that and the other. And I'm like, bro, like I don't remember where he instantly got a combo all the time off of, you know, Berserker Slash without using meter anyway, right? So it's basically just used as a tool for mix-up to keep your opponent on their toes in some instances, right? So that's why people call the character Unga, because it's like, yo, man, I can reset you to see like if you're actually paying attention. But them taking it away is definitely a thing, but it's not as a big a thing that like I feel like people are making it out to be, because I'm always a believer in like, hey, man, they're going to be able to do something, right? Bro, Leo is dead. Damn, awkward dog boner. Just tears in your eyes. He's fucking gone. He's fucking gone. Hey, man, he might be, bro. So visual displays on screen during matches. So they definitely changed it. And on top of that, it feels like the characters pop a little more. It feels like the characters in the forefront actually pop out a little more. They also seems like they adjusted the stuff in the back as well. But like it definitely, they look a little more vibrant, and you can tell in comparison to the background, it does wonders for what this game looks like, even just from this still. They definitely don't blend in so much. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've always been a fan of making any game that has an animation style look as seamless as possible. But in this instance, I understand. Spencer was one of the people who pointed it out to me first. He was like, yeah, man, like the characters kind of get washed out, right? And certain stages, it wasn't as bad. Like the more footage I looked at. And I was like, oh, okay, in certain stages, it's not as bad, whether it be because of the way they cast some of the shadows or anything like that. But it definitely looks a lot better. Yeah, people will figure it out and still love them. I promise you right now. I promise you, I will still figure it out, and I'm still going to play Leo. That's why I don't even really trip off of stuff like that. Like, I'm not about, like, it's not about, like, the tools the character has to me. It's just about how cool the character is. Like, if they changed it, just like I continued to play Alex in Street Fighter V, I still would have continued to play Leo. I still would have found some stuff to make the character work, or just to, you know, make it as useful as a tool as possible. But anyways, back to this. MS. This refers to the ping around response time between you and your opponent. These changes depending on your internet connection and the distance between you and your opponent. The lower this number is, the smoother your match will feel. Obviously, like we already know this. Rollback frames. This refers to the average number of frames rolled back during a set period of time. This number increases when the connection is poor, and the display can become unstable when the number passes a certain point. When reporting your feedback or any errors encountered during online matches, please include the above numbers as they appeared during the match. As the purpose of this open beta test is to test the network under a wide variety of connection signals. There will not be any filtering based on connection strength or display of the opponent's connection before matches. I see. Okay, so you won't be able to see it before the matches, but once you get in, you should be able to see those numbers. And if there is an issue where, you know, it has something to do with their connection, you can just use you can have the MS up here. The open beta test number 2 can only be played during the designated date and time. Some of the game's content may differ from the final product. A network connection is required even when playing offline mode. Save data from the open beta cannot be carried over to the final product. PlayStation Plus is not required to play the open beta in online modes. Will it have data in it? That's a good question. But I mean, it's the beta, and I don't think they would, in all honesty. So it might be best to just, probably if you get the opportunity, just either stream it or record your own matches. And in all honesty, I'm not really tripping off of like the data that's coming from this. Not on the side to where I want to see it. I'm more interested in the final product. I'll be able to play and give my, you know, my feel of the game, just like I did before, right? But I still, you know, want to give time for the game to get to a point where, you know, they feel like it's playable and the characters are, you know, actually complete. I'm going to test Zato this time. 6B has always been an anti-air button in GG. Right. I'm going to try Ramlethal this beta. Yeah, that's a good question, guys. If y'all in the chat, what characters are you guys going to play in the beta, in this second beta? Y'all know Anji will be playable, who hasn't been a brand new playable character since the days of XX. And we also have Eno. Killing Nick. I'm going to tell you right now, like, I'm probably, like, if this dash button sticks to Eno, if this dash button becomes a thing, I probably will switch up my character choices a lot. Tuntaku, people thought I was going to play Batman when he first came out. They're like, yeah, man, he's like Zappa. You got to play him. I'm like, first off, I slap him. Don't you ever compare that abomination of a fucking character to Zappa. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not playing that character. I want to see what Anji does, though. That's another character I really want to play. I really want to play some offline matches, too. But no, still, this is good news. This is good news, guys. We got another open beta. We got all the characters that will be playable. We have a battle balance that might just be mirrored in some of the footage we've seen coming out of Japan for their open beta test. Why does Guilty Gear roster shrink with every game? I think it's just because they really want to bring it back to have like a focal point for people to try a bunch of characters. And this makes it easier learning like individual matchups in some instances, right? Like everybody learns and builds kind of like the same meta, and then when they add a new character, everybody can kind of like look at that character and build their own kind of, you know, work from that. Still, regardless, good news all around. We get to play more Guilty Gear. I'm dirty.